Herpes killed my baby. This is STD Anonymous.
Herpes could never. Herpes could never break me, could never again make me feel less of. Herpes can't take my sexy away from me. Herpes does not take my worth away. Herpes does not devalue me. Herpes can never.
Hi, my name is Shayna Singleton, aka the Herpes Goddess, and yes, having me is a big flex. I am the founder of Herpes Can Never Grow and the largest herpes awareness platform of over 294K because I inspire people to love themselves more. The mission at Herpes Can Never is to be at war with the stigma until the community feels comfortable being open about their status and proud of their sexuality. Welcome. This is STD Anonymous, where every Friday I will be dropping a new video of someone else's life with an STD story. I created this series for those who want to share their stories, but not yet comfortable enough to share their stories publicly. This week, we have a story of a young lady who had lost her child because she had herpes and did not know she had herpes. She was misdiagnosed. Let's get started. When I was 19 years old, I was sexually assaulted by someone that I had been talking to. I had gotten tested and did the whole standard routine testing, and everything came back negative. I thought I was in the clear. Fast forward to about 4 years later, married to someone else, pregnant, and almost giving birth, I started to experience pain and irritation, and I just got so sick. I honestly thought that I could just drop at any minute. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't get comfortable, I had the shakes. It felt like my whole body was shutting down. It was very scary, and unfortunately, I didn't have the right support. Of course, some of these symptoms are just being 9 months pregnant, but when I went to the doctor and I expressed some of my concerns, he looked at my vaginal area and wrote it off as a yeast infection. When in reality, I was giving birth to my daughter and experiencing my first HSV-2 outbreak. I wasn't treated for it properly, and therefore neither was my daughter. At this time, I still didn't know what had happened and what I was going through, but I was an undiagnosed sick new mom with an undiagnosed sick daughter. At 20 days old, my daughter passed away from HSV-2 and other complications. The virus completely attacked her body, experiencing organ failure and ultimately being too young and small to fight anything off. It was only after this horrible nightmare when I started to put the pieces together. This started when I was 19. I wasn't actually negative. When I became pregnant and my immune system dropped, which is normal, it was finally when the virus that had laid dormant in my system all of those years finally came to surface. Within the last 3 years of this discovery of my life changing, I often find myself struggling. Not only am I grieving my daughter and trying to not to blame myself, for it is a reason she is not here today, and the fact that this is now my new truth. It's just not easy. I have made changes to help my body be stable, physically and mentally. That's all that helps. But when it comes to relationships or everyday life, it's definitely something that I do struggle with. Most days, I am confident in my own skin, but some days, like everyone, we have our bad moments. I feel dirty, I feel betrayed, I feel awful. I write this today not seeking anything. I share my story because not only do I feel safe to do so with this beautiful organization, but I guess as a reminder that none of us are alone. Yes, all of our stories are different, but at the end, we are all in this together. Thank you for listening. Whew. Wow. This is why myself and Watch Amber, we're doing this work. Because first of all, herpes isn't included in your average STD panel, yet it's so important to know that we have. 1, pregnancy. No, it doesn't stop you from having a vaginal birth. But if you are aware that you have herpes before having a vaginal birth, your doctors can create a plan for you during your pregnancy and do an extensive, thorough pelvic exam on you to even let you know if you're able to have a vaginal delivery. Neonatal herpes is herpes that newborn babies get through being in contact with the virus during delivery. Neonatal herpes is fatal because a newborn baby's immune system hasn't developed yet to be able to handle the herpes virus. Queen, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. I can't imagine not having my son. For those of you familiar with my story, when I found out I had herpes was the same time I found out I was pregnant. I had a vaginal birth as well, but my son is herpes negative because I knew that I had herpes. Take a moment of silence. Go get tested. If you're not showing any symptoms, request for a blood test. Find out if you're IgG deficient because you can test negative on an IgG blood test if you are IgG deficient and you still won't know that you have herpes. So request for an IgG and an IgM. And if you feel like you're showing symptoms, that is the best time to get tested because you can get the most accurate test. Get a PCR or a culture swab on the area that you think may be herpes. Ooh, this is such a sad story. No one deserves to go through that. No one deserves to be sexually assaulted. No one should have to be a witness to their child passing away, and no one should have to hold that guilt of feeling like you are responsible for the death of your child. How many other people have gone through this? If you've gone through this and you're willing to share your story, please, in the comment section below, drop your stories. The reason why I'm doing this segment because my story has saved so many lives and changed so many lives. And I know that your story has the ability to save or change a life as well. Not only do I have STD Anonymous for people who are not willing to tell their stories publicly, I do have STD Our Stories Life with an STD with women and men who are willing to share their stories publicly as well. The Herpes Can Never movement is here to break the stigma, is here to spread awareness, is here to educate people and encourage people to go get tested. Herpes is not included in your average STD panel. And when you're pregnant, you would think they would test for everything, but they don't require it. It's important, especially my ladies who are pregnant. Get tested. Again, Queen, thank you for sharing your story. We are doing STD Anonymous. A new video will drop every single Friday. My name is Shayna Singleton, aka the Herpes Goddess. And yes, having me is a big plus. Like, subscribe, share. Your support is needed, is welcome. I love you all. And remember, herpes could never